We were called homers. We were called crazy. They said we had no clue what was coming on Sunday night in Orlando. But we remained consistent. We told you what was coming, and it all happened. But before we get to that, we're going to have a little bit of fun today. We got a little surprise at the end of these, so stick around for that. But let's go check the tape.
Again, Mike Norvell, oh my God, everybody's piping the praises of him. I think he's like 15-6, Shane. 15-6 in his last, 2 seasons. Everyone's like, this is the team on fire.
Oh, yeah.
But he's been there for like 4 or 5 years now, and we're just in year 2. We're just getting this thing going, and you got people like me thinking they can win the SEC, can win the national championship. I think this is a major mismatch that I can't believe people are buying into the Florida State hype.
Me either, man. Ain't work done, ain't down there. You know what I'm saying? Brother, Florida State, yeah, enjoy it. You won all the preseason banners, but when it comes down to it, there's nobody outside of the SEC that really thinks this is going to be a game. And I hope nobody clips this later and uses it if LSU loses.
That was the SEC podcast. That was SEC Mike, the big guy that we had a little fun with some editing on that. But let's talk about some national guys right now. Listen, I love these guys. Not giving them a hard time, but they did make our video. JD, Josh, you're up.
So to pick this one, we got LSU winning this game, 31-29. Barn burner. Florida State could very well still run the table the rest of the way, make the college football playoff. But I think LSU had one circled for a minute. And what they have this game compared to last game, just knowing who they are as a team, I think LSU finds a way to win this one in Orlando.
Just decided I'm going to go with LSU. I have very, very low confidence on this, but I'm going to take LSU. I'll lay the points because I don't want to be that guy who says LSU wins, but Florida State covers the 2.5 because that's insane. Even though statistically it could happen, that's insane. So I'm going to go LSU to win.
All right. Next up, we're going to talk about LSU guys here in a minute, but the SEC love is strong. Here's my guy, Brooks Austin. Love Brooks. We chat from time to time. No shots, just sharing the prediction.
And then when you look at it, it's a 1-point loss. And I think they're a much improved team this year. I think they kind of feel like they let one slip away against FSU last year. They'll win this game by 10 points.
Absolutely.
Here's a guy you guys are going to love to hear. You're going to love to hear the crow that he has owned up to, and he has admitted he's eaten some crow on his channel. We've done a video about him in the past. Matt, be great.
At the end of the day, though, I think it's time for LSU and Brian Kelly and that entire football team to show Florida State the seminoles they're not ready quite just yet. I think LSU is going to steamroll Florida State. I think they're going to run all over them. I don't even think it's going to be a close game. I got LSU winning this by 14 points. I'm going to say LSU 35, Florida State 21, and it's not one of those close 14-point games. It's going to be one of those where it was never in doubt.
More national guys. Always fun. Joel Klatt, Paul Feinbaum, you're up.
I have put my flag in the ground and said that I believe that LSU is the better team, and I believe that. Remember, they were the better team a year ago. The 6-game winning streak that Florida State had late last year was against a lot of bad football teams, very average football teams. And while I like Florida State, I just don't think that they're better than LSU. LSU did a heck of a job in the transfer portal. Really good job in the transfer portal. They got better. They got deeper. It's now Brian Kelly's second year. He's got his quarterback for a second year. I like LSU in this game. They're favored by 2.5. They should be favored. I believe they cover that and win by a score and beat Florida State in the opening week.
I like LSU, and even though I'm exercised over Smith not being in the game, I think LSU should win. I'm troubled every time I look at Florida State's roster, though, and I see first-round picks across the board. It tells me that Mike Norvell has done a really good job down there, but I think it's similar to last year in terms of the tightness. And what about this? Maybe LSU actually makes a kick at the end of the game to win.
He's been on the sidelines just about everywhere this weekend. Tom Luganbill.
So I think it's going to be a great game. I think LSU is a slightly better football team top to bottom. And I know that Mason Smith's not playing, which is a load of crap. But I still think LSU is potentially the better team on the field. I like them to win the game.
Yeah, I'm leaning LSU. We talked about Jane Daniels taking advantage of the downfield.
All right, let's do some LSU stuff. These are the best two after further review. This is good.
Harold Perkins, though, can get after the quarterback, get him off his spot. It makes his job a lot harder and helps the secondary. So I'm going to go Tigers. I think Tigers win this game. I think it's going to be 35-24 LSU.
Because LSU last year in this game is not even remotely close to the team that they are now. I think we live in an age where teams are going to score, but LSU's defense has enough playmakers. They're going to make enough plays. And I think LSU's going to win this game. I like them to win. I like them to cover. I think LSU wins 34-27.
Jordy Culotta, massive homer, massive LSU guy. Check it out.
Tigers are favored by 2.5. I would take LSU in this one. I like the final score somewhere around 30-24, 31-24. LSU in a big play, firework type night just makes a play or two more than Florida State.
But I'm going to go 32-28.
LSU? You picking LSU to win?
Oh, yeah, LSU.
That was the important part. We need to know who you had.
That was the important part. I forgot that was there.
I have LSU at 33-30. Maybe a last-second Damian Ramos field goal. Anybody?
Ooh, a little redemption factor.
Maybe a little redemption, a little bounce back for Ramos.
I like LSU in this game. The spread's 2.5. I would take the Tigers. Dylan, I was almost identical. I had it written down before, but I would say 31-27. I think we're all in kind of that category of it being a really close game.
And we saved the best for last. This is Brian Kelly on his weekly radio call-in show. You've heard this before, but we couldn't not play it on a video like this. Tell him, BK.
It's not a disclaimer of any kind. We're going to go beat the heck out of Florida State. But
now, were you guys tuned in last Friday? Were you watching live? We go live every Friday at 11 a.m. Hopefully, you'll tune in for the next one, because here is what we said heading into the weekend. What I was confident in and what went right is Florida State's going to take advantage of their secondary. Florida State is going to use those matchups on the outside. I don't know how any team in the country, including Georgia, bookmark that for later on in the year. I don't know how any team in the country guards Florida State. Florida State wins, it's because they have gotten those favorable matchups on the outside. They have done a phenomenal job of scheming guys open, of Jordan checking into the right protection to stop against that nasty front seven that LSU has. They've done a good job of exploiting mismatches. If Florida State wins this game, it's because their defense was as advertised. It's because the guys on the defensive line, Fabian Lovett, Jared Verse, Pat Payton, Braden Fisk, Josh Farmer, and others, it's because they stepped up and they made plays on 3rd and long. They've kept LSU behind the sticks. They've done a good job of making sure that LSU wasn't able to get comfortable and get into a rhythm. The linebackers have done a good job, whether that's Deloach spying or whatever the situation is on Daniels, but they've limited his legs. If Florida State wins this game, it's because their secondary is what we thought it was. Florida State's got a really good secondary on paper. We think Green's taking that step. We think Jarian Jones is taking that step. We believe that Fentrell Cypress is the best corner in the transfer portal from that Power 5 level. We believe that their secondary is better. We think that the young guys can step in and make a play. We think that Barker was a good take from JUCO. We think that Brown and Dent have taken another step forward. We think that Ryan Fitzgerald has done a good job of continuing to get better on his end. We think that Jordan Travis, Mike Norvell has said that he's the most improved player on the team. And so I've just listed every single position group. I understand that. But if Florida State's won this game, then everything we think about this team was true. But if Florida State wins this game, it's because they've been able to take advantage of the matchups that they have, the advantages in the matchups they have against LSU. And I think they have advantages against LSU at just about every position grouping on the field. And that's why I like the Noles to win this by 10 or 14 points. Give me 31-21. I think the Noles I think it's back and forth in the first half. I think it's a fun game. I think we're nervous. I think we're all sweating because I think you're going to be nervous first half. I think there's a lot of anticipation. I think there's a lot of excitement. There may be some nerves. There may be some jitters for both sides. But ultimately, I think Florida State's better. I think they're deeper at a lot of positions. I think they have more talent at a lot of positions. And I think they end up winning the game. I think they win it kind of going away. Now, I know I'm an FSU homer, and I was just lucky to be right about FSU in this game. But I'm going to be lucky to be right about FSU a lot more this year. Hopefully, you're tuned in with us to watch it. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. But on this one, if you're already subscribed, this video needs to be shared. This video needs to be shared, and you need to tag the people who we featured in this. Tag every one of them. Let them hear it. Because the Noles are for real. And they probably didn't realize it then, but they all know it now. They all know it now, and they all know what's coming for college football.